Oh, I think I got the stream working this time. Uh, Let me just double check real quick to see if it's working. All right, looks like it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Aero League Racing Tier 2. My name is Bloodwave, and normally I wouldn't commentate, but this time I'm filling in for my brother who is busy today. But yeah, it's the first race of season 15, the 15th season of ALR F1. We've been doing this a long, long time, it seems. And yeah, we kicked the season off with Tier 2. Looks to be very competitive this time around. Like, I know a lot of people in this tier who've really upped their game, especially in terms of pace and cleanliness as well. So I think it's going to be exciting to see who gets the best results here tonight. I believe we're just waiting on a couple more people, and then we will be ready to get underway. And I apologize if I don't sound perfectly fine, but yeah, I've just been sick for the past like day, so yeah, you might be able to tell. Hopefully not. But I'm just checking to see who we're waiting for, and we should be getting underway very shortly. So, this season of Tier 2, a lot of drivers have made the move up from Tier 3 last season. Drivers who proved themselves to be quicker than Tier 3 pace and proved that they deserve the spot up here. Some of the names that come to mind are right here. We have the Joker Psycho. He used to be in Tier 3. Also, Howlanan, who is right up here. Howlanan, Said's been here for a while. CI also moved up from Tier 3. And yeah, I apologize for forgetting any other names, but we also have some new people in this tier, like Crofties. I believe this is his first ALR race, as well as DRS Neil. I'm not sure if it's his first ever ALR race, but yeah, he is new to the tier as well. And yeah, we're just waiting on one more person, and then we should be good to go. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I apologize for the delayed start, by the way. Right, so the final driver will be joining mid-quali, so I think we're all good to ready up. Yeah, so not long now before we get started with qualifying. Let's see. Right. Qualifying for the first race of the season. It's always an exciting time. It looks like we have 19 drivers for this race, which is good. It's a good turnout. Unfortunately, one of the drivers, I think it's we're gonna have 20 by the end of it because one of them is gonna join mid-quali. So yeah. Wait to see now. Just opening up my live stream for the chat. Please talk to me in chat, by the way. I'm gonna get very bored if I have to sit here and talk to myself for an hour. Yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you guys kept me some company. But right. Looks to be dry at the moment. The time of day isn't correct, but that's fine. Hopefully drivers can see the their racing lines if they have that on. Let's just get all of this up. And now we'll wait to see who the first is to come out of the pits. And it looks like Cassell has joined, so that should be our 20th and final driver. Full grid. Very nice. Looks like the Haas is the first car. The Haas of Font is going to be the first car to set a lap time in this season. So hopefully he can do well. Wait to see. That's a very interesting way to warm up your tires, Font. Just spamming the throttle button. Okay, some audio issues there as well, clearly. So, most drivers now coming out for their first runs. Austria being quite a short track, only a 1 minute 4 second, 1 minute 3 second lap time around here for most of these drivers, as Font goes off into the gravel. I'm not sure what he's doing there. But yeah, this track being as short as it is very possible to get 4 runs in during quali. You can also go for 5 if you like abandon a lap halfway through, if you realize that the lap time is not going to be good enough to improve, or if you don't think it's quick enough in general. You can always abandon your lap and you can go for another one. It's a very forgiving track in terms of qualifying, but I'll tell you what, those track limits are not forgiving, especially in these last couple of corners, as Font rounds the final corner to begin the first flying lap of this season, as we wait to see him come through into turn 1. Goes down to 4th gear, clips the apex nicely, and runs on the exit curb, which is always what you want to do. Looked to be pretty tidy from him through turn 1, as now he rounds the kink, known as turn 2, approaching a bit of traffic into turn 3, gets it rotated nicely, just shy of that outside curb, which is where you want to be for your flying lap. As now he makes his way down into turn 4. He has an AlphaTauri in front of him. That car needs to get out of the way, and it does so very nicely. Font approaching the middle point of Sector 2, throws it in, misses the apex a little bit, but I think he'll get away with that, as now he runs over the exit curb and down into the penultimate corner. Let's see what gear he uses for this one, as there's the traffic from a McLaren in front of him, but yeah, looks to get away with it and sets a 1 minute 5.9 lap time. That's not the quickest we've seen. Prezemu immediately improves on that with a 105.4, and Robin off the bat with a 104.260. Setting the pace for the session, immediately a second quicker of Hallonen in the McLaren as Hallonen moves out of the way. Let's have a look at Samet, who just invalidates Let's take a look at Fabrinaldi coming out of the final corner. Let's see what he can do. Crosses the line, 1 minute 6. It's not great as Saeed goes up into P4 with a 105.2. Blurry Julio crosses the line as well, 104.8, puts himself up into P2. So it looks like Robin is quite clear in terms of the pace. He's already 6/10 clear of the closest person behind him, which at a short track like this is a massive gap, as Trems now goes into P2, sets a 1 minute 4.3. Cassell as well in the Alfa Romeo goes up into P3, a 1 minute 4.5. Very impressive lap times. Is now an AlphaTauri crossing the line, and I believe it's CI, I think, starting a lap time, yeah. Or CI might have invalidated his previous lap time. Crofties moved himself up into P4 after those first runs, 1 minute 4.5. And yeah, I think there's a Ferrari on his way. Is that Robin? Probably going into the pits. No, Robin's going to start another lap. So let's ride on board with Robin real quick. Goes into turn 1, gets the... Oh, just gets out of shape into turn 1. And yeah, unfortunately that... I'm not sure if he'll be improving just because turn 1... Yeah, he's 8/10 down on his previous lap time. So no improvement for Robin on this lap. Hi, I had to look for a second to make sure this isn't T1. Where's Bambino? Bambino, unfortunately, is not available for this round. He had some stuff going on, I think, so he's a little bit busy. But, yeah. Let's ride on board with Blurry over here. In P6 currently. We'll be looking to improve on that. Has a 104.8. Let's see what he does in the first sector. 5 thousandths up, so that's fine margins from him. Misses the apex a little bit into turn 3, but seems to recover that on the exit. Let's see what he can do down into turn 4. Very tricky corner. You need to get the apex and let the car run as wide as possible, which he does very nicely. Bring it in now for turn number 6 and throw the car in. 5th gear is the gear you want to be in. Clips the apex nicely and runs over the exit curb. Brilliant from him, but it looks like he's not improving. The racing line is good, but he's not quite on the limit in terms of grip. Let's see if he can maybe claw some time back into the final 2 corners. That looked very nice into turn 9, and into turn 10 goes into 4th gear, which you just don't want to do. And he improves, but only by a 10th, unfortunately. So, I believe that is the majority of the first runs done. It's quite hard to keep track, especially with how short this track is and how many drivers are out right now. But yeah, a lot of drivers back into the pits, most on their out laps. Looks like Finn is on a lap, so let's watch him for a little bit. Down in turn 4, he uses 3rd gear. It's an interesting choice for qualifying. Normally for the race you would want to use 3rd gear, but regardless, maybe he knows something that I don't. Sets the fastest middle split so far. 15 seconds up, but his previous lap time is a 1:22, so let's see what he can do. Goes into the final, or the penultimate corner, and now into the last corner. On the exit, a bit under the limit, but opens DRS and comes across the line for a 105.363. Good enough for P9. Let's take a look at mini turns, see what he's doing. He's currently in the middle sector. Mercedes looks absolutely amazing in this light, on this track. It's just, it's one of the best looking cars. It's now, comes into the second last and into the last corner. Let's see what lap time mini turns can do. The first lap time that he is going to set, and it's good enough for P7, 104.944. Very good effort from mini turns. Cassell just starting his lap. I believe there's a Williams coming across the line now. It is Prezemu. He goes up to P8, as now we have Jamie who crosses the line, goes into P7. Saeed as well. Actually, I think that was Robin. Robin in provisional pole at the moment, starting his lap as Prezemu moves over onto the grass to let the cars behind through. So now there's a McLaren as well, trying to pick up a bit of slipstream off of him. But we'll have a look at the AlphaTauri. I think it's the other one. It's Crofties, isn't it? On an out lap. So we're going to ride on board with Crofties to see what he can do on this hot lap. Into turn 1, brakes at the 75-meter mark, clips the apex into turn 1, looked very tidy through turn 1 as now he runs up the hill, past turn 2 and into turn 3. You want to brake at about the 100-meter board, goes down into second gear, interesting. Looks like it was quite tidy there, gets the apex and runs over the exit curb. Now heading down into turn 4, let's see what he can do through here. Goes down into third gear as Robin sets the fastest lap time of the session, improves by 0.2 on his previous lap time. Let's see if this man over here can challenge him for that provisional pole spot. He's currently 0.2 up on his lap time. He would need a lot more improvement to get himself on that top seat. Let's see if he can find something special in the last couple of corners. Throws it in, keeps it in 7th in qualifying, and 5th for the last, up to the line. Let's see what Crofties can do. It's a 1:04.310, good enough for P2, but still nearly 2.5 off of Robin. So it's a good effort, but not quite enough for that provisional pole spot. I believe this is Cassell, who's going to cross the line next. And he puts himself P4 right behind Trems, just 10 thousandths behind Trems. Decent effort from him as well. Let's have a look at CI. CI abandons his lap, goes into the pits. Or, I believe this is an in-lap actually. Yeah, it is his in-lap. I believe there is a Red Bull crossing the line right now to start his lap. It's Slimmy-Cam. But so far, not a lot of action out on track. Looks like Crofties is coming into the pits. There's Williams behind him. Blurry Julio starting his lap, or Julio, whatever his name is. Not quite sure how to pronounce it, but I've known him to be pretty quick, especially in the past. He was teammates with Big Bambino, won the Constructors' Championship actually with him. Bambino not racing tonight. Unfortunately, he's away for the first round. And yeah, Bambino has been consistently the quickest driver in Tier 2, and he's been winning championships for as long as I can remember, so I think it's good for these other drivers to get a bit of a head start on him, so that they have a bit more of a fighting chance to get the win, or maybe challenge him for the championship. So there's a Red Bull to the line. Slimmy-Cam goes up to P19. Not the most impressive lap time, but I think it's because he had to back out or something. But now let's have a look as he goes over the exit curves and over the white lines, but somehow keeps it valid and puts himself in P7, a 1:04.464. You can just see how close the lap times are from the majority of the top 10. Everybody is just... You can't discount anybody for moving themselves up every lap. Let's have a look at Trems. Actually, I believe it's the other... It's mini turns to the line. Let's have a look. Invalidated. Unfortunate. But we'll have a look at Trems, who's crossing the final corner now and up to the line. DRS wide open, sets the fastest lap time of the session, a 1:04.049. He moves past Robin by just about... I think that's 28 thousandths. Correct me if I'm wrong. My maths is not very good. But, yeah, so it looks like currently it's Trems versus Robin for pole position in this race. pretty much every driver into the pits. I believe Blurry is also going to go into the pits. Jag King starting his lap, mini turns, probably going to enter the pits at the end of this one. Prezemu, looks like he finished his lap time. Yeah, he did. So pretty quiet out on track, but the drivers are just preparing for their final runs now. Talking is pretty hard right now. I apologize if you guys can hear me like messing up a lot. First thing, I'm rusty. I don't do comms very often, and second, I'm quite sick, so putting a lot of stress on my voice is hard. I'm probably going to lose my voice by the end of this race because I plan on screaming my heart out. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. DRS Neil, one of the drivers who has not yet set a lap time, and from what I know, he is very, very quick. So I would not discount him from possibly putting himself at the top spot. He will only have one opportunity to do so, so he can't risk any invalidations, he can't risk any sort of mistakes on his lap. He has to nail it if he wants to get himself up into provisional pole, and we're going to ride on board with him for his lap. So he's warming up his tires currently. Have a look at Prezemu. Jag King's out of battery. The Joker Psycho on a lap. Alright. Comes through that middle sector, and now he's approaching the second to last corner, throws it in, 6th gear, very nice, as, oh, he loses the car and spins out and hits the wall, and that's the Joker out of the session, unfortunately, down in P18, and he crashes out. Very, very unfortunate for him, but that's just how it goes sometimes, especially with those corners. You just have to, wow, you have to be very careful sometimes, and that's very unfortunate for the Joker. Finally, my teammate goes out. Who's your teammate, dude? I think he pitted again because he left the session. Yeah, like, I think he might be having connection issues or something, but almost all of the drivers out on track now. Looks like Finn is going to be the first of the lot to set his lap time, as he's taking a nice stroll into the gravel, just warming his tires up, it seems. Yeah, he pitted again, definitely because wait, actually, I think it's an Alpine is going to be the first to cross the line. I can't find Alpine over here. I must be blind. Oh, it's Samit, yeah. Samit, gonna be the first one to set his final run in qualifying. 1:14 left in the session. That means 1:14 left for these drivers to cross the line and start their final lap, as right on board with Samit up into turn 3. Sets the fastest first sector so far. So, if Samit can find a lot of lap time in this middle sector and this final sector, he might be looking to put himself on that provisional pole spot. Down into turn 4, gets the braking nice, gets the car rotated, lets it run over the exit curb, and then cuts back towards the inside. Now he needs to throw this car in here and pray that there's enough grip. And no, there isn't, as he spins out. Samit, unfortunately, knocks himself out of the fight for provisional pole. Next up to cross that middle sector is going to be Finn. Let's see what he can do in that Red Bull. Now into the penultimate corner, down to 6th gear, and now into the final corner. Where can he put his Red Bull? DRS wide open to the line. It's P4 for Finn, 1:04.3. Next is the Williams, I believe, actually this Jaguar, who slows down before the line and validated his lap time. As Samit crosses the line, looks like he won't be improving much either. Said's starting his lap. Let's have a look at the Aston Martin. Coming across the line now, where can Fabrinaldi put his car? Does not improve, stays in P10. Next up is the Alpha Tauri. Is that CI, or is that Crofties? It is Crofties, who does not improve and validates his lap time. That will be P3 for him unless people from the back improve. Next up, I believe, is it Robin? Yes, it is. What can Robin do to the line? And he goes fastest! Beats out Trems by just about 200ths. Trems not able to improve on that. And that means that Robin will start this race from pole position ahead of Trems and ahead of Crofties. Finn won't be improving either. Looks like Jaguar invalidated his lap, and that's pretty much the rest of the grid sorted. So that means Robin, for the first race, is going to start on pole position. Wow. The gap at the front of the field is so small. There is nothing in it between these two drivers, but it is Robin who comes out on top. Trems manages to get the front row for himself. It's Ferrari versus Mercedes into turn 1. Crofties in P3 on his debut. Very impressive performance from him. And Finn as well in P4. That is very impressive from both of these drivers, as it is their debut and it is their first race. Cassell in P5, Jaguar P6, CI manages to get P7, Blurry gets P8, Samet P9, and Fabrinaldi P10 manages to secure himself a top 10 start for this race. What a quali. Yeah, indeed, what a quali, dude. Very impressive stuff from Tier 2 so far. I'm not gonna lie, I did expect quicker lap times, but yeah, I mean, at least from what I've seen from these drivers practicing, I've done my fair bit of practice with a lot of them. I was expecting a bit more, but regardless, still pretty close at the top, and I think we're in for a pretty good race. Neil starting all the way from the back, did not set a lap time, unfortunately. Slimicam P19, Joker, who crashed out in the final corner, gets P18, Saeed P17, I expected more from him. Prejem, who gets P16, Mini turns P15. Jack Kings P14, Jamie 13th, Helen 12th, and Font just outside the top 10 by 200ths of a second. So we don't have any formation laps, and we're just going to go right into the race start. So yeah, should be exciting. I'm quite possibly the biggest Robin fan in this league, so I couldn't be happier with the qualifying results so far, but I'm not trying to curse him or anything. Hopefully he can keep it up and snag the first win of the season. That's all I really want. Trem's up there as well. The thing about Austria is, with DRS being so powerful, it doesn't matter if you're that much slower than the drivers ahead. You can still manage to maintain your gaps, keep up, and it's never really over at this track. Even if you're really far back, you can always fight for something. As now we have 4 and 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. Who gets the better start from the front two? It looks like it wasn't Trems, as he's already been passed by Crofties into turn 1. Crofties moves himself up into P2, but it's Robin who's clear out in front. Looks like there might have been some incidents at the back, as we already have a 3-second time penalty for Slimicam. Neil moves himself up 2 positions as now we look further back to look at the McLarens. And Hallinan possibly going to try and move down the inside of Fabrinaldi into turn 3. Hallinan, with the later braking, manages to get the position ahead as Blurry is dropping back multiple positions, as is Jaguar. Both of them out of position at the start. But it is Robin who is well and truly out in front, clear of any threat from behind. 7 tenths is his gap at the moment. But the rest of the field managing to keep it pretty tidy as the Joker, Psycho, and Fabrinaldi are going at it. The Joker tries to get the position around the outside, but ends up losing out to Saeed as well. Saeed with an opportunist move down the inside. Manages to squeeze past, but now we look at Fabrinaldi and Hallinan going side by side into the penultimate corner. And it looks like Hallinan has damage, so he's going to be coming into the pits. A lot of drivers going wide in the penultimate corner, and Przemu losing positions as well. It's quite the chaotic start here in Austria, as the camera angle is not really supporting me here, but it looks like Przemu is just going to fall back behind Slimmy Cam, as now Cassell moves himself past Finn, and Font and CI are going at it as well. CI round the outside, gets passed by Font, and he manages to... is trying to get the switch back. Let's see if he's going to be able to get it. Not quite. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to turn on the tires and all that. Oop. Yeah. Okay, so medium tires for the front two. Both Robin and Crofty starting this race on the mediums. Trems opted to start for the hards. Cassell on mediums. Finn on the hards as well. Font choosing mediums, so it's quite an even split. It looks like only the Joker started on the softs, which will be interesting to see what kind of pace he can set at the start, and how that strategy pans out for him. Crofties sets the fastest lap behind Robin, currently in P2. DRS is enabled, so we'll wait to see if any passes are made this time around. Finn not quite close enough behind Cassell to get the move done. It doesn't look like Cassell is going to be having any benefit of DRS, as now looks like Mini Turns has used quite a bit of his battery, but not really setting an impression so far. So he's trying to move himself past CI in P7. The midfield looks very closely spread out, as the top three are kind of breaking away from Cassell in P4. As further back we have Fab and Saeed going at it, and it looks like Saeed is going to get his Ferrari past the Aston Martin. So these are some of the worst camera angles I've ever seen in my life. Jack King's only 2/10 behind the Joker in front, which you wouldn't expect. You'd expect the Joker to be a lot quicker on those soft tires, and you'd expect to see him moving forward quite a bit. But it's not quite the case. Trems now in P3 on the hard tires manages to set the fastest lap of the race, and now Crofties with a very good opportunity and a good run out of turn 1. Let's see if he's able to make the move past Robin up into turn 3. 4/10 is the gap. He's gaining, but he's not quite gaining enough. Let's see if he's able to do anything into turn 4. Looks like he got a decent enough exit, and doesn't seem like he's going to be using his battery. Robin probably used a bit of ERS there to defend, which is smart. Manages to keep the gap at 4/10 and manages to hold on to the lead of the race. But these attacks will be coming non-stop, and for right now, Trems' only goal is to stay in the DRS and keep himself with these top two medium runners. If there is no safety car, and if he can manage to keep this gap as small as possible, this race will come to him 100%. So he just needs to be patient and wants to make sure that he stays within the DRS of the guys in front. Further back, Mini Turns very close behind CI now. These guys are really going at it. CI as well, very close behind Font. Font is getting DRS, I believe. But CI is going to be patient, lifts a bit into turn 1. Let's see if he's able to do anything up into turn 3. Looks like Font just missed out on DRS, so this should be an easy enough move for CI. CI moves past Font, and we'll wait to see if Mini Turns is able to do the same. Mini Turns down the inside, leaves the space, and gets the position ahead of Font. Font, who's going to get DRS. CI is not going to get DRS this time because he moved himself past Font before the DRS detection zone. As now things look to be mellowing out a little bit. DRS Neil probably having connection issues, manages to join back as we have yellow flags, and that is the first retiree of the race. It is Slimmy Cam who crashes out in the second sector, and that is a full safety car. Robin decides not to pit, Crofty stays out, Trem stays out, Cassell stays out, Finn also stays out. think pretty much everybody is just going to stay out. I'm not sure if that's the best decision at this moment, but yeah, unfortunately the Red Bull Slimmy Cam just crashes out in that middle sector. And this is a good chance for some of the guys who dropped further back, like Halman and Samet, to get back into it. And Neil as well, DRS Neil, as Prishemu moves past the Joker. The Joker is going to pit off of those softs, which is a smart decision from him. From here on forth, he can easily do the medium hard strategy, or I'm not sure if he has another fresh set of mediums, but he could probably pull off a medium as well if he's conservative on his tires. Safety car is going to be out till, I believe, lap 8 anyway, so yeah. God, that Mercedes safety car just looks so good. Yeah, this is a nice time for me to check my phone. I've been getting spammed. Yeah. The top 3 were quite comfortably ahead of Cassell. I'm not entirely sure why. Cassell might have been struggling a little bit in that opening stint. Hopefully he can stick with them a little bit more now. I think once you just fall out of that DRS, it's so hard to recover and get back into it. But nevertheless, he's doing a good enough job. So currently, looks like all the hard runners in a pretty good position at the moment because none of the medium runners decided to pit. The safety car did come out a bit too early for anybody to make any pit stops. But if we see a safety car come out around lap 14, then it's obviously going to be a bit of a problem for the hard runners as the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So we'll ride on board with Robin to wait and see when he decides to go. Robin obviously won a lot of races on his time. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to lead a safety car lap. And he knows how to do the restarts really well. Crofties with a bit less experience. This is his first ever league race. Not only in ALR but in general as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he's able to predict when Robin is going to go as the safety car enters the pit lane, and it looks like Robin has gone. So, did not really catch Crofties off guard there, but nevertheless, Robin has gone, and we are back underway. Lap 8 of 36, green flag conditions once again. So, Crofty's pretty close to the back of Robin. Looks like Cassell maybe got caught out a little bit again by Trems. The gap is already up to 7.5 tenths, almost 8 tenths now as we end the straight. Font trying something down the inside, maybe if Mini turns, as Mini turns leaves him the space and defends, but Jaguar, opportunist round the outside of Font, picks up the slipstream from Mini turns up ahead and gets himself up into P8 ahead of Font, as now looks like the Williams and the Aston Martin coming together a little bit back there, and the Aston Martin manages to hold on to the position despite the contact. It looks like Blurry maybe just got it a little bit wrong under braking, but luckily both of them seem to have gotten away unscathed, as it looks like Finn has had some problems and CI and Mini both moved themselves up past, and maybe, just maybe, well, Jaguar does manage to get the position in the second to last corner ahead of Finn. So Finn losing 3 positions in one corner as now Mini turns, tries it down the inside into turn 1 and gets the position. Jaguar on the switchback as well, uses his battery as they go up the hill. Will he be able to get past CI? CI with the slipstream of Mini turns. They're almost 3 wide going into the corner, and It looks like Jaguar is going to get the position on CI, and Finn maybe trying to follow it, but no, CI gets the better of the exits and manages to defend P7 from the Red Bull behind. As now Jaguar and CI still trying to fight this one back, maybe around the outside, but nothing doing into turn 4. That was very, very expertly done from Jaguar. A lot of experience. He knows what he's doing as the Joker moves himself past the Aston Martin of Fabrinaldi. Obviously has 5-lap fresher tires, so a bit of an advantage in terms of grip. Cassell managing to stick with the top 3 very well this time, actually. Mini Turns is the one who's actually dropped back, but there's quite a bit of squabbling going on in this pack. DRS has been enabled, so Jaguar will possibly go for a move into turn 3. Wait to see if he gets a good enough exit. He's practically pushing that Mercedes through corner 1, and now with DRS open, will he be able to get it done? Of course he will. Swoops around the outside. Minis is going to try and fight this one, but unfortunately just can't do so. However, Mini will have the DRS into turn 4, so possibly, maybe he's able to fight this one back if he can get close enough by the time they reach the braking zone, and he can't. So, Jaguar expertly moves himself up into P5. Very impressive stuff from him, as these 3 are really going at it. It's some great racing. It's great to see. Crofties looks like he's dropped a bit back from Robin out in front, which is surprising to me, and that means Trem's now 3 tenths behind him, possibly going to go for a move on lap 10. This is about the point where the hard tires are going to be about equally as good as the mediums, so yeah. Wait to see if he's able to get past into turn 3. Using his battery. He's going to want to get this move done as quick as he can. He doesn't want to leave it up to braking Crofties without DRS, and Trems comfortably moves himself past. Cassell not quite close enough to pick up the scraps, as we have Jack Kings and Blurry going at it. Looks like Jack Kings moves himself past. The Joker just sits back behind. And yeah, you would argue that Trems is probably in the best position from here on out to win this race. Robin needs to come in around lap 16 to get that undercut on Trems. If he pits lap 16 and does a few laps on those fresh hards, then he has a very good chance of maintaining that gap. However, Trems will have the faster, fresher, medium tires towards the end of this race. So, it's anybody's guess as to who's going to come out on top towards the end. But, yeah. As, Mini turns only 4 tenths behind Jaguar. Jaguar does not have DRS on the car ahead, as Jack Kings has retired, and that might be another safety car, and it is. This has played perfectly into the hands of the medium runners. They need to come in and switch onto those hards right now, and the hard runners like Trems, CI, Finn, they've all really just been shafted here. Like, this is probably the ideal lap for a safety car for those medium runners, because they can strap on the hards and go to the end of the race, but if the hard runners decide to pit for a set of mediums, it might be difficult for them to make it to the end of the race. I believe this is our second safety car of the race so far, and we're only on lap 12 of 36. So, we'll wait to see what Robin does if he decides to come into the pits. It should be a no-brainer for him. Slows down a bit for the Delta. This game really loves giving me the worst camera angles ever. Okay, that's better. Robin decides to come into the pits. Trems is going to follow him in. Crofties as well goes into the pits. Cassell, maybe a bit over the white line, but that's fine. Pretty much everybody is deciding to come into the pits. DRS Neil stays out on those 6-lap-old hard tires. If he's the only one who's staying out, him and Samet, they're going to get swallowed up after the restart, because, I mean, 7-lap-old tires is not that big of a disadvantage, but, oh, a lot of people double stacking, this is going to really switch the grids around quite a bit, as this means CI loses out a little bit. because he had to double stack behind his teammate Crofties. And yeah, this has jumbled the pack up quite a bit. But DRS Neil in the lead of the race because he decided to stay out. Samet in P2. Robin in the net race lead because Neil probably still has to pit. Trems is... Okay, so here's the thing. If Trems can get past Robin, like, quick, and if he can pull a big enough gap, he might be able to survive, but those mediums are going to be finished by the time the race ends. He's probably going to be looking at puncture territory, 70-80% wear. And, yeah, Robin might just come back at him. It depends if he can keep those tires alive towards the end of the race. He needs to really, really nurse them if he wants a chance at winning this race now. Unless we have another safety car, that might be his saving grace. DRS Neil, who started from the back of the grid, has moved himself up into P1 after 14 laps. That would have been a very interesting story if it didn't come from the fact that he stayed out as Finn comes on the pits once again for a fresh set of mediums. Talking is getting harder and harder, and I can already feel myself losing my voice. I haven't even been screaming yet, but... So I don't actually believe that the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. It might be, actually, because, yeah, the Red Bull at the back has caught up, so that means safety car is in this lap. The restart will be led by DRS Neil on those hards. Samet close behind him. His tires are 4 laps older. But, yeah, we'll ride on board with Neil and see when he decides to go. Obviously on this game you have to wait for the safety car to enter the pit lane, otherwise you get the limiter and you can't go and all that, so he's driving nice and slow to create a big enough gap as he decides to go now. Very early and manages to catch off Samet quite a bit. 0.8 is the gap. 1 second going through the final corner and starting the first lap after the safety car comes in. Green flags flying around across the track, and Robin currently 2.5 tenths behind Samet, and he has the fresher tires as Samet gets all out of shape, and that means Robin is going to move himself past, but Trems further behind, using that battery, is going to want to get past Robin as quick as he can, pushing him up the hill into turn 3, but backs out of it and lets Robin continue on in P2. DRS Neil has broken off 1.8 seconds ahead of Robin already at this restart, but Robin is using a bit of his battery, already down to 54%. Trems not quite close enough to get a move done into turn 4. Crofty's close behind, possibly going to try and pick up some scraps, but as they head through the middle sector, it doesn't look like anything more will be happening on this lap. Further back, the gaps are quite small between Cassell and Samet. 2 tenths separate them as they head through the middle sector. These guys have one hell of a train going on, as it looks like Jaguar is going to try and go for it on Cassell. Down the inside into the second to last as he gets over that inside curb and loses out to Cassell. Cassell manages to defend that position very nicely, and now he's close to the back of Samet, but not going to go for it into turn 1. That's a wise decision from him. Just needs to wait until turn 3. As Finn sets the fastest lap of the session so far. Now, up the hill we go. Cassell using his battery, and Samet with those older tires is not going to fight that one bit. Jaguar also moves himself past. Samet lets his teammate through as he tries to go for a move to defend a little bit, as there's been a huge crash between Samet and Font, and Samet has lost his front wing. Font and Samet come together into turn 3, and it looks like there was just a bit of wheel tangling there, and Samet has lost his entire front wing, and that is another safety car. And this time, it plays into the hands of... It does not play into the hands of Trems because he does not have a fresh set of hards anymore. Only one set of hards for this race, and he's already used them at the start. But this does mean that Trems is going to be able to save his tires for another few laps. That crash between Samet and Font, looks like both Font and Samet have lost their front wings, so both of them are going to be coming into the pits. Everybody else pretty much going to decide to stay out. Other than Crofties, who decides to come in. That is a very interesting choice. I wonder what tires he's going to go on. If it's a set of mediums, then he might have actually pulled something off here. Because he's going to have to go... Oh, Crofties had lost his front wing. He needed to change his front wing. Wow. So, Crofties down in P13. But he is on those fresh mediums. And if he can save them for a couple laps under the safety car, if he doesn't push on these tires too hard, he could pretty much take these to the end of the race. It's going to be a bit of a stretch, but it's very much possible. And Progemu letting Fabrinaldi through. Not sure what's going on over here, but some nice racing under safety car conditions. You love to see it. Lap 17 of 36, we're almost halfway done with this Austrian Grand Prix. Been a roller coaster so far. Yeah, a lot of incidents, a lot of twists, a lot of turns so far in this story. And yeah, still unsure who's going to be coming out on top at the end of it. Cassell obviously was Tier 3 last season and doing a great job so far in Tier 2, up in P4. Trems as well, P3. He's been consistent in Tier 2 last season. Hopefully he can keep up that consistency. Neil, P1 currently, 12 lap old hards. The safety car will probably be in at the end of this lap. So, wait to see what if he's able to catch Robin off guard a little bit. Trems is just dropping back a little bit, possibly trying to save his tires a little. So far, we've only had 2 retirements from the race. It's Jag Kings and Slimmy Cam who have retired. Crofties down in P13, Finn P12, both of them on the medium tires. Howland decides to go for the softs, which those are definitely not going to make it to the end of the race. But he might be looking to go for a 2-stop, do soft, which could be viable. But he would have to hustle that car quite a bit. So the safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap. And once again, we will ride on board with DRS Neil to see when he decides to go and if he's able to catch Robin off guard. Wait to see when he decides to go, puts the power down, and he has gone. 5/10 is the gap to Robin. Did not really pull as much of a gap as he did to Cassell, or as he did to Samet rather, but Robin already gains a 10th out of that final corner. Trems is going to be all over the back of him going into turn 1. Doesn't decide to go for a move. We'll wait to see if Robin is able to put in a move and move himself past the Aston Martin and go for the lead. Robin, using his battery, goes down the inside of DRS Neil. Up the hill they go into turn 3, and Robin moves himself past the Aston Martin. Down to second gear he goes, and Trems as well, opportunistic as ever on that medium set, decides to move past the Aston Martin. Does not want to wait another second behind them, and he's close to the back of Robin, once again chasing him down for the lead of this race. Looks like Cassell and Jaguar are going at it. Jaguar tries around the outside of 4, turns to the inside of 6, manages to get the position ahead of Cassell. Further back, we have Finn and Przemu going at it. Looks like Finn managed to get the move done, but Przemu trying to fight that one back. It looks like Jamie was trying a move around the outside, did not quite get it, as Jaguar moves himself past DRS Neil and suddenly brings himself into the conversation for the race win. 9/10 currently separate him and Trems. Trems on that fresher set, as now Cassell going down the inside, and it's as we predicted, DRS Neil just getting swallowed up on that older set of hards. Maybe staying out was not the best decision for him, as he loses yet another position. A mini turns, and Trems goes for the lead down the inside into turn 3, moves himself past Robin on that medium set. With more grip, manages to get past and goes into the lead of the race. As further back, Jamie has had problems and he's spun out. Loses his front wing as well in the process. Luckily, there's no safety car as yet, as Mini turns now, tries around the outside, which turns to the inside of Cassell. Cassell's going to try and hang this one around the outside. Will he be able to get it? Mini turns, moves himself up into P4. Very impressive stuff from the Mercedes driver, as Robin now is dropping back behind Trems. He doesn't want this gap to increase too much, but he knows that this race is going to come to him. He just has to be patient. That's all he has to do, is make sure that Trems does not run away too far, that he isn't able to make up the gap towards the end of the race. DRS enabled, and Robin is not going to get it, as this time we have the Joker Psycho, who drops all the way back as he goes into the pits. CI decides to come into the pits as well. I'm unsure if he has front wing damage or not. We'll wait to see. And looks like he doesn't. He's just swapping off, as Saeed now moves himself past DRS Neil around the outside. Fabrinaldi is going to try it as well, gets in the slipstream of Saeed. As now Cassell and Mini Turns going at it. Cassell down the inside of Mini Turns. Mini Turns looks for a switchback, but Cassell covers it off very nicely and moves himself up into P4. Mini Turns has to settle for P5 at the moment. Saeed a cool 3 seconds back as he runs onto the gravel, and Fabrinaldi is not going to need a second invitation, already alongside Saeed, and swoops around the outside. Saeed's going to have to back out of this one into the penultimate corner, and he does. Saeed pushes DRS Neil off the track, and Fabrinaldi picks up a 3-second penalty, as we have a spinner, and it's Finn who spins out at the final corner, and that's going to be another safety car. That's, I believe, the 4th one of the race so far. Finn spins out and crashes as Jamie decides to come into the pits. CI might decide to carry on, as CI picks up a drive-through penalty, as does the Joker Psycho. Not quite sure what's going on back there, honestly, but yeah. It'll be interesting to see what Trems does from this point on. I would assume all of the hard runners should come in for a brand new set of mediums. That would be the smart thing to do, as CI retires in the pits, unfortunately. My guess is that the hard runners should come into the pits for a fresh set of mediums. And if Trems has another set of mediums, he should definitely be looking to box for those. As, yes, Trems is going to come into the pits. Let's see if Robin stays out. Wow. That might not have been the best decision. Jaguar comes into the pits. Cassell comes into the pits. Mini turns. Fabrinaldi decides to stay out. Saeed into the pits. Neil into the pits. Pretty much everybody is going to pit, and it is the right decision, 100%. As Font went a little bit wide on the pit lane entry. But, yeah, I'm not sure why Robin stayed out. That was not the best decision for him. He should have come in for a fresh set of mediums. CI leaves the session. Unfortunately, picked up that drive-through penalty, and that pretty much ruined his race. Oh, shit. At least it's a nice break for my voice to heal a little bit. But yeah, Robin in the lead of the race. I'm not sure how long that will last, simply because those old hard tires, like, mediums are going to comfortably make it to the end from this point on. The softs might just do as well. And it's going to be really hard for Robin to defend all these positions. He does have a nice buffer with Fabrinaldi behind them and Blurry behind them as well. If these guys can hold up some of the people behind, then maybe there's a chance, but 13 laps, it's going to be very difficult, honestly. I believe at the end of this lap, the safety car will be in, as we have an AlphaTauri going into the pits again. It's Crofty's. Not a bad decision. You can swap off of those mediums, possibly go for a fresher set, or put on a set of soft tires. I think the people who went on to the soft tires might have made the right decision, since Crofty's does decide to go for softs. Because softs will comfortably make it to the end from here on, and those first few laps, there's going to be such a big grip difference. Right, so the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Robin will lead the restart. Behind him is Fabrinaldi in P2, both of them on an old set of hard tires. Everybody else behind, either on the mediums or the softs, fresher tires, as Robin has decided to go now. Does not quite catch anybody off guard, but we'll wait to see what the gaps are as he rounds the final corner, goes through and into past the start finish. It looks like Blurry got a little bit out of shape, and that means that Samet and Trems and all of them are going to move themselves past. They might pick up illegal overtakes for that, as they did overtake him before the start finish. Trems already up into P3. Moves himself past Jaguar and now moves himself past the Aston Martin, and he's already up into P2. The Aston Martin is going to try and fight this one back, pushes Trems a little bit wide, but Trems, with the superior grip, manages to claim him on the exit, and Jaguar as well now just sails past the Aston Martin, who's going to try and fight this one back around the outside. Cassell down the inside of Blurry on those soft tires, manages to move himself past, and Fabrinaldi manages to get past the Aston Martin as well. Cassell picks up 2 places in 1 corner. Very impressive stuff as Blurry is spun around. Luckily he ghosts, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to pick up any damage from that, but he's in a tricky position, needs to get out of there as quick as he can, and does so. Looks like Samet has lost a few positions as well, as there is a bit of carbon fiber flying around out there, and it looks like Hallonen might have picked up damage once again. It is carnage at the back. Looks like Samet very close behind, and Jamie is going to try and go for it down the inside of turn 1. Will he be able to get the position? Yes, he will be able to get the position. Both of them moving past the McLaren, and Crofty's as well manages to move past the McLaren. But now we wait to see who comes out on top at the end of this fight. Looks like Jamie is going to try something down the inside of Samet into turn 3. Yes, he is. Sends one, but doesn't look like he had the grip on the exit, and Samet manages to defend that one, but Jamie is going to have the slipstream down into turn 4. Not going to be enough, though, to have an overtake done there, as Font and Fabrinaldi are going at it again, and Fabrinaldi is dropping like a stone, and now he has his teammate behind him, DRS Neil, currently in P8 on that fresh set of mediums. So looks like Samet has had problems, and he's gone onto the grass there, and he drops back into P14. Very unfortunate for him, as Trems picks up a 3-second time penalty, and suddenly all of this has just shifted around a bit. He goes for the move down the inside on Robin into turn 1. Robin backs out of it and lets him through, but now Trems has to pull a 3-second gap. Robin with the DRS gaining all the time up into turn 3. Down the inside he goes with Trems and reclaims that position, moves himself back up into P1. Trems unable to get the switch back, but he's gonna have the DRS down into turn 4. Robin defends the inside line, does not want to let Trems sneak past there. Trems is gonna go for it regardless, down the inside into turn 4, gets the apex nicely and gets the position ahead of Robin, moves himself up into P1, and now he has a hell of a job to do if he wants to win this race, as Jaguar as well moves himself past Robin. Robin struggling on those tires, not able to defend these positions, and Cassell on the softs as well is gonna get this position on Robin. Of course he is. The tire difference is too much at this stage of the race, as we have yellow flags in sector 1 for, I believe that is a Williams. As now DRS, Neil, and Fabrinaldi going at it. Neil manages to swoop around the outside of his teammate and gets P8. 1.6 seconds is the gap, but we know how quick he can be. Saeed now maybe looking for something down the inside into turn 1, doesn't quite get it, but he will have DRS up the hill up into turn 3 on Font. Saeed on the mediums versus Font on the softs. Saeed with the superior top speed and DRS manages to get the position ahead of Font. Font with DRS might try and fight this one back, and of course he is. Picks the inside line, Saeed moves over a little bit, but this position is going to be Font's for the taking. Gets the position ahead of Saeed. Saeed maybe going to try switch back. Yes, he is, but this does mean he's going to have the outside line into this next corner. And the outside line, as we know, as he gets another switch back, which turns to the inside for the next, but Saeed just deciding to back out of that one, does not want to lose a front wing at this stage of the race. I might have missed an overtake for the lead, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but it seems that Jaguar has put his car in the lead of the race. Now, these three are going to constantly be going at it. Cassell manages to move himself past Robin as well into turn 1, and Trems now with DRS lifting because he does not want... Oh my god, who's going to get the DRS? Trems lifting so he can get the DRS on this next straight. And he does so, manages to steal the DRS away from Jaguar, and now heading into turn 4 is going to comfortably get this position and takes the lead of the race. Trems, like I said, has a hell of a job to do if he wants to win this race. He has that 3-second penalty. He needs to pull a 3-second gap to Jaguar if he wants to win. Further back we have Fabrinaldi and Jamie going at it. Fabrinaldi on those hards is really struggling as he goes wide and onto the gravel and falls outside of the points from P2 in just a matter of about 5 or 6 laps, unfortunately. So it looks like it's mellowing out quite a bit, but DRS Neil trying it down the inside of Font. What a move from the Aston Martin driver, manages to get the position ahead of Font, and now he has the rear wing of Saeed Al-Falazi in front of him. 8/10 is the gap. We'll wait to see when exactly he can manage to move himself past the Ferrari up ahead. Saeed is going to try and defend this one. Moves a bit towards the inside. I'm not sure if he's trying to break the toe or not. But DRS Neil not close enough to go for it into turn 3. Saeed goes a little bit wide. Let's see who gets the better exit. It looks like it was Neil who got the better exit. Turns on his ERS and the DRS. Let's see if he can go for a move. Picks the inside line. Saeed moves over a bit, and DRS Neil manages to get the position ahead of Saeed. Saeed tried to switch back, but it was not happening on this occasion. DRS Neil, from last on the grid, moves himself up into P6. And he has mini turns next. Mini turns currently 2/10 behind Robin. Robin is managing to keep himself within the DRS of Cassell, which helps to defend from the cars behind, but he's going to be struggling a lot in terms of grip. And Font picks up 3 seconds for track limits, and it doesn't look like Trems is pulling away as much from Jaguar as we would have hoped. Robin close behind Cassell, fighting back on those old hard tires, moves himself past the Alfa Romeo of Cassell and up into P3 on those old hards, as now Saeed going for it on DRS Neil, takes the inside line and gets the position back. He's not done yet. Saeed fighting this one with DRS Neil, as now Robin tries it once again down the inside of Cassell and gets the position and moves himself up into P3 on that hard set. Midi turns very close behind as well, and Said looks like he's losing out quite a bit of time to this top 5. Robin is not going to have DRS on this lap. He is 2 seconds behind Jaguar, and Jaguar looks comfortable with 5 laps remaining. This is all he needs to do, is just chill in the DRS of Trems, and this win is his for the taking. As now it looks like Mini Turns is going to want to go for it into turn 1 as there's so nearly contact into turn 1. Robin gets a bit out of shape, and Cassell is not going to need a second invitation. Goes down the inside, up the hill. Maybe Mini Turns will be looking to pick up some scraps as well. Mini Turns, 2% battery left. Tries it down the inside off Robin. Robin leaves him the space. Let's see who gets the better exit. Both cars are going to have DRS, but Robin has the advantage of having more battery. And he's going to get the position ahead of Mini Turns and sends it down the inside of Cassell. Robin, what a move from the Ferrari driver, manages to move himself back up into P3. Mini Turns picks up the scraps and gets P4 ahead of Cassell. Very impressive driving from the Ferrari driver. Despite having a lack of grip, he is not giving up just yet, as Blurry sets the fastest lap of the race so far on the soft tires. He's at the back, unfortunately, so he's not going to pick up an extra point for that. But this fight between Robin, Mini, and Cassell has been nothing short of incredible. So now, further back, we can look at Neil and Said going at it in a turn 1. As Robin gets passed by Mini, and Cassell is going to try it as well down the inside. And Robin is going to get passed by both of the drivers, but he is going to get DRS. As we have yellow flags in Sector 3, that is for a McLaren. DRS Neil moves himself past Said. Said is going to have DRS on this straight. Using the battery, he should probably just consider turning it off here. Unless Said sends one down the inside, late braking. There's a bit of contact between them. DRS Neil leaves the space, but still there's a bit of contact as the Joker Psycho retires in the pits. So there's not going to be a safety car for that retirement. But DRS Neil up in P6, past Said. And yeah, at the moment Mini Turns a bit too far back from Jaguar to really catch up, but this fight for the final podium position is very much still alive. Robin, don't count him out as well. 21 laps he has done on those hard tires, but still he is in the fight. He is hunting these guys down. He wants to be there towards the end to pick up the positions. Mini Turns completely out of battery, still using what he doesn't have, and Cassell not really able to catch up. Said gets 3 seconds for a track limit invalidation, and unfortunately is going to have to serve that. That means if Crofties can get within 3 seconds of him, he can get that position. Jaguar is really just chilling behind Trems, not wanting to go for it, but he probably should, considering that penalties can get taken off at the end of the race. On the last lap, if I were him, I would go for a move 100%. As Cassell picks up a 3-second time penalty in the final corner. So that's another position for Robin. That means that all Robin has to do is get past Mini Turns if he wants to keep himself on the podium. Mini Turns completely out of battery, was flashing before, still is, and let's see if Cassell is able to move himself past into turn 3. No, he's not. Decides to just back out of that one. So we have yellow flags in Sector 1. I believe that is for a Williams that retired in the pits. Right, so things are just starting to mellow out a little bit. Doesn't look like Neil is making that much of an impression on catching up to Robin ahead. We'll wait to see what Jaguar is able to do on this final lap. Decides to start going for it, uses a bit of battery on the exit of the final corner. Through turn 1 they go. third gear for that. That's interesting. Because now Jaguar is going to drain practically his entire battery to maybe have a prayer of going for it down the inside, possibly. Not quite, but he's going to try it regardless. Around the outside, doesn't quite get it, but this time, with DRS and ERS, will he be able to move himself past Trems on this final lap? Trems is flashing. Jaguar doesn't go for it, decides to back out of it. He thinks that he'll get that position from the penalties that Trems has, as Robin and Mini turns are going at it. Robin trying it round the outside of Mini as Cassell moves himself past up into P3, but that's not going to stick because he has, of course, that 3-second time penalty. Robin trying maybe to pick up the last podium spot, but it's not going to happen. And out in the front, it is this man, Trems, who looked like he would not be able to get the win at the start with the safety car. Got unlucky, but he does cross the line in P1. However, it is Jaguar who gets the win ahead of Trems after penalties, as we have a big crash before the line. And oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen a crash like that. Holy shit. Yeah, that's like 4 or 5 cars involved. I'm not even sure what happened there, but it is Jaguar who is going to win this race ahead of Trems after Trems picked up his penalty. Mini turns, gets himself on the podium. It's a dream start for Mercedes. Double podium for that team. Robin, unfortunately, gets P4. He looked set to win the race, but it didn't quite happen for him. With the wrong strategic call towards the end, it was looking unlikely for him. But he fought his heart out, and you can respect that. Right, so Jaguar wins the first race of the season. Trems gets P2, Mini turns with an amazing performance. I love to see that. Gets himself a podium up in P3. Robin gets P4, Cassell P5, DRS Neil gets P6, Saeed P7, Crofty's on his debut manages to get P8, Jamie P9, Prezemu P10, and that is your points finishers here tonight. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a great night of racing, and hopefully I will see you guys next week for Australia. Till then, take care. Bye bye.